Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. This week you probably saw on my last videos that we're using tags, and I belong to a global hop where lots of people around the world all make their versions of tags or cards or whatever they want to make using the same set. And our set for September was this one, tags. Now, I don't usually buy tag sets. I normally just make my own and use, whatever little images I've got. But I've really enjoyed using this. If you saw my main video, you'd have seen how to use the tags, and I'll just quickly show you again. I've never seen a set like this from Stampin' Up, where you get 3 stamps on the same piece of photopolymer. So what happens is you decide which of the occasions you want. Do you want Halloween? Do you want Valentine's? Do you want Christmas? I was using Christmas for this set, so all you do is take off the whole photopolymer piece, pop it on a block, ink it up, stamp it so that all 3 stamps are stamped on your card, and then you use the matching framelit, and that also is all 3 pieces at the same time. So once it's on your card, you just match it up, run it through your die cut machine, and you get 3 tags cut all at the same time. It's such a time saver. Now let's put this back in. There we go. I just pop that back in there. So this is the set I'm using, and I've already done a video for the blog hop, and then I did a second video showing this card, which is one that I used from the Christmas set. It was this little tag. So I wanted to show that it doesn't have to be a tag. You can make it, this little tag you can make into a bigger tag. You can make it into a card. You can make it into a 3D project. So it is very versatile. Now today's video that I want to show you, just let me pop that out of the way, is one of the tags that I showed in the global hop. I didn't show how to make it. I just showed that this was a tag I made using the tiny tag, which is only this big, plenty big enough for lots of gift things. And let me see if I've got something else around where I'd only used a tag. Yeah, remember I showed this as well, which was just a Halloween treat using the one little tag. So on some things that tag is perfectly fine. If you're giving things in bulk, it's a perfect size. But you know me, I wanted something a little bit bigger, a little bit more involved. So from this set, I used the Bring On the Merry. And what I did was I stamped it in Mossy Meadow. And here it is, stamped in Mossy Meadow. I coloured the little birds in with Cherry Cobbler and Mango Melody, and I coloured the trees in with Crumb Cake. Okay, so that's the one that I'm going to be using for my new tag. I like these kind of blinged up tags with a little bit more on. They just, on some gifts, they just look a little bit, they're prettier. That's it, they're just prettier. So I'm using this tag shape, but I'm going to make a different tag. I am still going to be using the wrapped in plaid paper, and I've chosen 2 different ones for this. I've chosen the ones that I used on the card. So I've got this piece, which is the green, red and gold plaid. And I think actually I'm only going to use this one. So just this. And I was able to use leftover scraps from the card that were just the right size. So the first thing you need is a piece of cardstock. And here I've got the thick white, and I've cut it at 2x4. And I'm just going to make the tag top with one of our new tags. It's called Delightful Tag Topper. and it cuts 2 inches, 1.5 inches and 1 inch, so that you can do, oh sorry, I just dropped my scissors, so that you can do different layers, different sizes, whatever works for you. That's one of the things I do like about these punches. You don't always have to think, this one only cuts 2 inches. I really need a 1 inch one, so I'm going to have to buy a new punch. You don't have to. Okay, so there we are. You see how pretty that top is. And then I've got a piece of the DSP, a piece of the leftover DSP, and that is cut at 3 7/8 by 1 7/8. So it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the tag. I'm just going to line it up because it's not quite the 2 inch mark, and I just want to make sure that it's level on both sides. There. Don't need that anymore, so we'll pop that one back. Okay. And when you put these together, I want them to be slightly offset, and that's why I made the DSP a little bit smaller. You'll see that the hole isn't offset, but that doesn't matter because we're going to put ribbon through. You see, you can't tell. So that is going to be our base for our tag. And on this tag, I did 2 pieces of DSP. I did one at the top and a narrower piece at the bottom, just because I wanted more colour. But for this one, I don't want lots of colour, so I'm actually going to attach that. I don't need it to be any other pieces on the top of DSP. Ooh. Okay. And I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to go this way so it's easier. I'm just going to line it up with the bottom of the tag. I want the bottom to be even. Doesn't matter so much about the top, because I'm going to have that ribbon through it and you won't see. You'll see that there's a little edge all the way around, but you won't know that, you know, this bit isn't punched out. If it does bother you, just take your hole punch, go over it again, and then, you know, the hole is exactly the same. Okay, so there's our base. Now, I've already shown you this was the part of the tag that I'm using, and like the card, I've just threaded through some of our twine, and I've used the twine that came with the Magnolia lace, Magnolia Garden set, sorry. So I've got 2 of the green and just 1 of the linen thread. Okay, and I've threaded them all through, and you can see at one end I've already tied a knot, and I'm just going to tie a knot at the other end. Now, I haven't glued it down or anything yet, because I just want to make sure that my knot is going to be fairly central. If I had this glued down and then this one, you know, it's long or too short, I can't move it much. Whereas if I don't have it tied down or taped down, I can move it slightly so that I know it's going to be even. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut the very end off. And I just want a little bit of feathering at the end. Okay, and then I'm just going to spread out the green and the twine, the linen thread, just so that it sort of spreads a little bit. And I think that's a tiny bit shorter than that one, so I'm just going to take a little weeny bit off. There. Okay, and when I've got it how I want it, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of tear and tape on the back. Let me see where I've hidden the tear and tape. Oh, here it is. And that way it will just hold those threads down until I'm ready for it to be going onto the card. I'm not going to take the back off yet. I'll take that off later. Okay, so that's our little sentiment. The next thing I'm going to use is one of our pearlized doilies, and I'm going to put it across just in the middle, and I'm just going to attach it. It doesn't matter if some of the adhesive is showing through, because we're going to put things on top of it, and it will be sticky here, and that's fine. Okay, so this is going to go on here, but I don't know yet if I'm going to put it on an angle or if I'm going to put it straight. So I'm going to do the rest of my decoration first. And I'm using another punch. I'm going to use my Perennial Essence punch. It's from the Perennial Essence suite. It's called Perennial Flower. And I've just got cherry cobbler, and I'm only going to cut 2 pieces. I only need 2, so that's it. That's all I need. And then I'm just going to find my bone folder. Let me see where that's gone. Here we go. I'm just going to turn up the petals a little bit, just so that they're poking up a bit. And then I'm just going to distress it a little bit. I'm just going to crumple it up, just to break those fibres down a little bit. And I don't want it to be sort of really straight and precise for the flower. I just want it to be, you know, sort of crunkly and a bit more natural looking. Okay, the more you squash these, the more the paper breaks down and becomes softer and almost like a piece of material. Okay, now we're going to glue those 2 together, and I'm just going to put them together with a glue dot just to make it easy. I'm just going to offset them. Okay, and keep scrunching. If the edges come apart slightly like this one's doing, that's perfect. That means the fibres have broken down, and that's how you want them to be. And it just makes it more malleable, so that when you want to put it on your card or your gift tag in this case, you can move it and scrunch it just how you want. Next, I used my little sprig punch. Did I bring that with me? Yeah, here we go. I used this little sprig punch, and you can see it's only small, so don't use a full piece of card for it. I use tiny little scraps. Sometimes I'll use DSP, sometimes I'll use card, but whatever little scraps I've got, I use this punch. And I've punched 2 in gold and 1 in Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow because it sort of matched with this a little bit more. And this is going to create like a little Christmas flower, and we're just going to put it over here. But I don't want to glue it on just yet until I know I've got my little sprigs in the right place as well. So I'm going to put glue dots on the top, and I'm going to put a glue dot on the bottom as well, actually. And now I want to have one coming out here, so I'm going to glue that there. I'm going to do another one the same, one on the back, one on the front. If you don't have glue dots, you can use your liquid glue for this. There. I'm going to do the same with the green, front and back, and I want this to be over here. But I just want to see how far out. There we go. Okay. And now we can glue the flower on. I'm actually going to glue this with my wet glue, just because it's a stronger bond than the glue dots, and it will, because the fibres are already broken down, it will glue really nicely, and it will really stick onto the pieces of paper that are already down there. Okay. For the middle of my flower, same as on this one, look, I'm going to use one of the gold faceted gems. I'm going to use one of the bigger ones. Doesn't want to come off with my fingernail, so let's get the pokey tool. There we go. And pop that right in the middle, and that just picks up those gold accents from the sprig as well. Now, like I said, this is going to go on here. I don't know if I want it to go flat or if I want it to go on an angle. Let's see. I think I'm actually just going to put it on flat. I'm going to take that tape off the back here, and I'm also going to put on a couple of dimensionals, just one at the top and one at the bottom. Now, the only reason I took the backing off that adhesive tape wasn't because I'm using the adhesive part itself, but if you leave the backing on and then put a dimensional on, what I've found is sometimes that dimensional will come unstuck as the cover for the adhesive tape peels off. So that's why I took it off. Okay, now I'm just going to move these petals a little bit, make them stick up so that you can still see all of the tag. There. Now, the last thing we need is just the ribbon to go on here. And I've chosen just the white polka dot ribbon. And I'm only going to do a piece, let's see what that length is, 6 inches. I am going to taper the end though. I'm going to taper the other end too. Where did that go? There we are. Okay, and then I'm going to put just one end through the little hole. I'm not going to put both in for this one. And fold the ribbon over so that we get a nice, little amount to go through, and it's even, sort of front and the back. And then I'm just going to use a little bit more of the green twine, and I'm just going to tie a bow. And sometimes I do big fancy bows on my tags, sometimes I leave them a little bit more plain. This is one that I'm leaving a little bit more plain, but still really pretty. And you know I often turn my bows upside down to make them go the right way, and today's no exception. Okay, so there we are. I'm just pulling the sides of the twine to make it an equal bow, and I don't think that's bad at all actually. Let me see about the length of the things. It's only a tiny bit longer at that side. I'm actually going to leave it quite long. If you wanted to make a thicker bow, you could do 2 layers of the green and 1 of the linen thread like we had on this part of the tag. But I'm quite happy with that. And so there you are. That's an altered tag that we made with our tags kit. But one that would be really, really pretty on a gift for somebody. I'd love to get that one on a gift. Just because it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more care. I think people look at it and think, oh wow, how did she make that? Look at that. So plenty of room on the back to write. And there we are. There's my first one that I made. It won't be the last. I'll be making all of my Christmas tags with this for my family. So there. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you've seen the original blog video and the video for the card. And I think with nice DSP, different stamps, use of punches, this little tag set comes into its own. It isn't just for small tags. It will do a million things. So there we are. Thanks again everybody, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.